vertebrae. Okay? And so,
It's okay, it's up. It's up.
all right. So then we've got sternum, right? And so that's sternum. So now we've got. You can see why we call this a 5-vessel window because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vessels, right? So we're in the thorax. We have 5 vessels. Right? Hint, hint. You probably need to learn how to recognize all of these. Right? So this is posterior. This is anterior. Right?
Yes, sir.
And we got airway. We know that much. Okay? It's not a vessel. It's an airway, right? Because if it was a vessel, it'd be filled with color, right? So if that's the case, then what do we think is what's going on here? What do we? So what do we think these are here? So those are the branches of the aorta, right? Those are the branches of the aorta. We're up high up here, right? So remember, the aorta comes up out of the heart, right? It kind of goes up to the right. It starts to turn. It's going to turn posteriorly in this big arch, right? And then as it turns posteriorly, right, it's going to then descend down down the spinal column, right? So we're at that level right above the aortic arch, right? And so that's where we're getting these 3 vessels. So what are my 3 vessels? Now I want you to name them. Don't just shout out names, but think about them from proximal to distal. Okay? Proximal meaning proximal to the heart. Okay? So what do we think is going on? Remember, which one of these do you think is proximal? One's up here or one back here? Thinking about how it turns. It's coming off kind of the middle of the chest, right? Rising up and turning and going back down. So the one that's the most middle or the most in the most middle or most anterior is going to be my first branch, right? So what is this branch? It also is a hint because this branch is furthest to the
Right.
what side?
Right.
Right. So what branch off the aorta is going to go to the right?
Brachiocephalic.
Brachiocephalic, right? So that means this one is left.
Left.
Just the common carotid.
So, yeah, common carotid. Right or
left subclavian.
left subclavian.
So brachiocephalic, right? Left common carotid, or left subclavian. Okay? And so right below this, like if I went down just a few what's the word? Yes. What do you call those slices? Thank you. A few slices. Right? We would find the AO. And the AO, is the AO going to be over here or over here? If I go down a little bit. Here? Or down here?
Up there.
Right? Think about if I go down.
Oh, actually, you gotta give me down here. Actually, yeah, it's descending. Yeah.
It goes down by the left side of the vertebrae. So it's going to be, I should see the aorta right here as I go down the thorax, right? So if this is coming off the AO, right, then what is this guy?
Superior vena cava. Vena cava. Vena cava. I was gonna say cava.
Right, either the superior vena cava, or depending on how high you are, you might be catching the right brachiocephalic, right? So it kind of depends. But the right brachiocephalic, and so if this is right brachiocephalic or the superior vena cava, then what's this guy that only one that's coming across the midline here? Coming across the midline, and you can see it almost looks like it's going to go into that one, and it is. It's going to run into this one. So what runs in from the left side is going to run into the superior vena cava. The left side going to go into the superior vena cava is my left brachiocephalic. Right? Or you can say subclavian because depending on where we are, but we'll say basically my left brachiocephalic coming across this way, superior vena cava, and then the branches of the aorta. Right? So this is my 5-vessel window. Right? So what do we think? What's this out here?
Lungs.
Okay. So this is what lung?
Right.
Right lung.
Left.
Left lung. How many lobes over here?
Two.
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 How many lobes over here?
Three.
Three. What lobe are you in right here? On superior lobe,
Superior.
right? And I know that because it's only a superior and inferior lobe, and if I'm up this high in the chest, I'm most likely going to be superior. Another way I can know that is because what fissure do I have in my left lobe, my left lung? I only have one fissure, and it's the oblique fissure, right? And so if my oblique fissure is running, it's going to be running obliquely across the chest. And I don't see any type of fissure line, so I must be above or below that, right? And so it makes sense I'm up above that. Okay? What's this?
Scapula.
Scapula, what's that?
Supraspinatus? No.
Subscap,
Subs-
right? Infraspinatus. Right, what's this?
Pectoris?
Pec major.
Pec major. Pec minor.
Minor. Now, as we begin to go down, right, then we're going to see, we'll go with, I think this is a good window.
No, this is like shitty, so. It's not.
Trying to do a little more contrast here, yeah. What now?
It looks like a black cat. A what?
What?
We just see two eyes right here. About it. Looks like a little cat.
Looks like the triple K. Doesn't it look like a triple K, man? Stone triple K right there. It's like a triple K. Triple K.
You know?
We're just dreaming.
Okay. So we'll just go with. I'll just get a little bit here. All right. So now we're at the base of the heart. So what's that? Base of, this is called an aortopulmonary window because I see what? Aorta and pulmonary arteries, right? So what is that one right there? That's the ascending aorta, right? The ascending is coming out in the middle of the heart, right? Or the middle of the heart field, even though I don't see heart, right? I don't see the chambers. I know it's coming out in the middle of the heart, so there's my aorta, ascending aorta. My aorta comes up off out of the left ventricle, kind of up to the right, and then turns and goes back down what side of the vertebrae? Left. So what's that guy? Descending AO. Right? So that means that this right here is pulmonary artery, right? Remember the pulmonary artery? It comes off that anterior side out of the right ventricle, and it runs through the aortic arch, right? It runs right through it, and then as it goes through it, it does what? It bifurcates or splits into my right and left main pulmonary arteries.
Is that
So
called
the-
anything? Like this, the split of it right in the middle? Or is it just
There are
bifurcation?
names for it. I forget off the top of my head, but yes, there are. Maybe you don't know, but there is a name for it, and I just don't know what it is.
The saddle thing, right?
That's where you get a saddle aneurysm. Yeah.
It's not called the saddle.
Or a saddle aneurysm. No. So this is.
You're fine.
The orient yourself now.
I think you're getting priority to the front because I mean, we're all going to be watching this
Yeah, man.
200, 300 times.
So which pulmonary artery is that?
The what?
Right main pulmonary artery. Right. So sides are important, right? Especially with vessels. So right main pulmonary artery, right? And so that means that this over here would be my left main pulmonary artery, right? And so then what is that? Left main or primary bronchus, right? So left main bronchus, right? And so this is my, that's going to be my right superior bronchus, right? So let's see here. So what do we have here? Think about what side of the heart we're on.
Right.
Right side, okay? And so we've already said that this was AO, right? And this is the pulmonary arteries, so that's the superior vena cava. Right? It's the SVC, okay? And so what do we see out here? Like, what is this? Yeah, so that's, pulmonary vasculature, right? So we would just, you can't tell if that's artery or vein right now. It's okay. I wouldn't expect you to, but we understand that those are pulmonary vascular markings, right? When you look at it on a chest X-ray, those little crackly lines that you see at the base of the heart and the base of the lungs, that's what you're seeing. Okay? We know that it's blood vessel and not airway because it's radiopaque, right?
Radiopaque.
Exactly. Right. So what is so what's that? Yep. That's the oblique fissure of the
Left.
left lung, right? Oblique fissure of the left lung, right? So what is that one?
Oblique fissure of the right.
Oblique fissure of the right lung, right? Now I know that because remember the right lung has 3, but that third fissure is horizontal fissure or in the same plane as my axial view. So it's going to be really hard for me to actually be able to see a fissure going all the way across my right lung field if I'm in the same plane as that fissure, right? This doesn't make any sense. So we know if I'm seeing a fissure running through this lung field in axial plane, then I'm most likely dealing with an oblique fissure, right? So if this is the right oblique fissure, then what is this? Very good. That's the inferior lobe of the right lung, even though I do oftentimes call it posterior. It's not really technically posterior, it's really inferior. But right, most of that lung is found on the posterior side of the chest, right? So that's why you listen back there. So that would make this one the right superior right, lobe. This is my left superior lobe and left inferior lobe. Okay? Very good. All right, so.
Could this be atrium?
No.
What's that?
So what is that? Okay. So that's you're looking at a portion of the pericardium, and trying to think if roughly in this area. Like right in this area, there's a kind of like a sinus that you could actually like run your fingers through, right? So, because remember this stuff, that pericardium is like wrapping around all these vessels. So there's an oblique sinus back here, and so you could actually pass your fingers in behind or in between those vessels and behind the heart, and you'd be able to actually run all the way through. All right, what's that? See if you can get a little bit more. I'll get some more. See how it's a vessel? All right, so what is it? That's the azygos. That's my azygos vein.
Azygos.
It's on the right side, isn't it? Right? In the right middle. All right, and remember the azygos vein is draining the right side of the chest wall. Okay? And so I would expect then that somewhere over here is a hemiazygos vein, but I don't think you'd be able to see it on this unless it's distended or something. Right? What about What's that?
Vertebral.
Mhm.
Would that just be the, yeah, like the Rami?
Yep. No, it's not Rami because I'm outside of the vertebrae there. Part of the vein, yeah. The vein, right? It's coming off of, you can see it's coming right off of the aorta. So what comes off the aorta? Posterior intercostal artery. So that's one of your posterior intercostal arteries. I will be catching it right there. Okay? Comes right off the aorta. Yeah, makes perfect sense now. Right? All right.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh yeah. Crazy.
we can come in tomorrow and do it.
I don't think so.
What?
There's not Find It Friday, is there?
I mean, not unless you want to find it by yourself.
Well done.
I don't think so. I don't know if I can do that.
I just find it
Smaller
funny.
white
No, that's all we're gonna see.
That white dot.
All right. Now we're in the heart, right? To the base of the heart here. So aorta, right? Dead center of the heart, right? Almost always you can just say aorta, right? So there's my AO. All right, what about left atrium, right? Most posterior aspect of the heart is left atrium. Most posterior aspect of the heart, left atrium. Okay?
Right there.
Right? Most anterior side of the heart is
Right.
right ventricle. Right? So let me go down with
Yeah.
Alright, so there it is. Okay. So what is that? Kind of looks like
Sounds ordered.
it's kind of what is the playing charade you do like? All right, so it's kind of on the right side of the heart, right? You'll notice that it looks like it is, and I'll just tell you that it is the same thing as this, right? So it's kind of like well, not really the same thing, but it's kind of wrapping around. Let's put it that way, okay? And so it's this right here.
Pulmonary thing?
Right? I'll give you a hint. Right, well, what is this? If I can get my bearings, what's that?
Left atrium.
That's the right atrium. Okay? Right atrium.
Oh.
So what's that? That thing right there is going to run into the right atrium.
Oh, on the right side. Yeah.
Coronary sinus. Right? That is the coronary sinus. That's the venous drainage of the heart. Right? Will go into the coronary sinus. The great vein and the great vein and the small vein of the heart run into the coronary sinus, which basically runs into. So they both essentially have. They run directly into the right atrium. Okay? So there's my coronary sinus. That's going to be the venous drainage of the heart, right? In order to take take all that blood into the right atrium, right? And so this is my left atrium back here, right? And so
Same.
what's that? I see chambers. If I see chambers, I know I'm in heart. So what's the most posterior chamber of the heart? Most posterior aspect of the heart is the left atrium.
Atrium.
So it's my left atrium, right? Middle of the heart is
Aorta.
aorta, coming up out of the left ventricle, right? So, right. So that's my ascending AO, right? And what's that? Descending AO, right? Left atrium. So what is this? Pulmonary vein, right? The pulmonary veins are going to take blood back to the left atrium. So that's pulmonary vein. This is pulmonary vein. A minute ago we said that this over here was what lobe of the lung? Right superior. So what would that be then? Right superior pulmonary vein. Right? So this would be my right inferior pulmonary vein. Very good. Right? What is this? So that's going to be one of my secondary bronchioles, right? So, I mean, the point is that we can see that's air, this is blood, right? So it's filled with air, this is filled with blood. Notice how this, vessel and this airway are all running together, right? They're going to run together out in here and into the various different segments. You can see it really good here as well, right? And so they run kind of together through the interstitium and make up the different segments of the lungs. Okay. Okay. So what is that? It is. I'm in the area of the septum. Yep. Okay. Okay. So, all right, give you a hint, there's one there, right? And then you see that.
So they're coming into the AO.
Right? Those are coming off the AO.
Off the AO.
Genesis circumflex, right? They are both coronary arteries, so which one is which?
Left and
So this one's a little bit harder, right? Because you can't really just depend on the left and right side of the heart or whatever, right? Because this one, if you look at this, it's coming out basically in the middle, right? So that is my right coronary artery. Right? The right coronary artery is going to come off between come off the AO and kind of come out, between my right ventricle there. Trying to think of it. So like right between the right atrium, right ventricle. Whereas this guy over here is going to come off between my left atrium and my right ventricle. Okay? So the left coronary artery comes off between the left atrium and the right ventricle. So that means we're seeing right ventricle here, right? So there's my left coronary artery, right? And it's going to kind of come out. And we can kind of watch it here. Why it keeps popping back up at the top. So as it comes out of the heart, I'm going to watch it. Oh, I lost it already. It'd be a lot more helpful if this had contrast in it. It doesn't. So it's going to come out of the heart, or out of the area right there, kind of run around the left atrium, right, and then going to descend. One vessel is going to descend down the septum, right? That's the LAD, and then continue around to the posterior part of the heart, and that's the circumflex, right? Right, so right atrium, very good. Right, so you can kind of see. You can kind of see that there's a break in between this and this chamber, right? See how there's kind of like a dark break there. So that's going to be my. Right? So this is we're looking at right atrium, right ventricle, right, left atrium, left ventricle, right.
So is that the septum?
Yep.
Like
So
shading
yep,
gray?
that's what I was going to point to next. So that's my septum. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep, very good. There's your septum. Right. What is that?
Is that the azygos? Azygos? Oh, it is on the right, yeah.
So that is most likely my. It'd be hard really to tell with this, with this view, but that's most likely my thoracic duct.
Oh,
It'd be hard to see that without contrast. Would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what you're saying, but I'm like really hard understanding that the feet are coming at me today.